4C Town of Cromwell zoning regulations to allow for an outside patio at Murphy's Pub and Sports Bar at 51-14 Shunpike Road. The applicant is K.C. Hancock, and the owner is HBN-CSC LLC. 2, application number 2518. Application for special permit under Section 4 of the Town of Cromwell zoning regulations to allow for a caretaker's quarters at 900 Corporate Row. The applicant is Samuel Slavinsky, and the owner is Industries, Inc., REV. Number 3, application number 25-19, application to amend the zoning regulations to add banquet hall as a permitted use under Section 4.3.g and amend Section 2.2 of the regulations to add a definition of banquet hall. The applicant is Ukrainian American Cultural Center of Connecticut. At this hearing, interested parties may appear and be heard and written testimony received. The applications are available for public inspection in the Office of the Planning and Zoning and Planning and Development. Alice Kelly, chairperson, dated in Cromwell, Connecticut, the 28th day of July, 2025.
Now, I apologize, that is not the correct legal notice that was in the paper. There was no application number 2, and the correct legal notice listing are the public hearings listed on the agenda. So there was application 25-14, which is a continuation from our last meeting, which is an application for a special permit under Section 5.6 of the Town of Cromwell zoning regulations to allow for filling, grading, and removal of earth materials at 9 Winchester Way. The applicant is Edward Pergolati, and the owners are Denise Lightfoot and Edward Pergolati. Number 2 was the application to amend the zoning regulations to allow for the banquet hall, and the third one is application 2516, which is the application to amend the special permit at Murphy's Sports Bar. So I apologize for the confusion. And the order that we're gonna do those in is the order they appear in on the agenda.
On the agenda.
Okay.
And
So-
that would be,
Yeah.
that would be 9 Winchester Way would be the first one.
Right, so we need a motion to open the public hearing.
Okay.
I'll make that motion to open the public hearing for application 2514.
And you were the second.
Everybody in favor?
Yeah, all in favor? Aye. She needs some help. She's putting up the,
Are you plugged in?
Oh, hold on, wait a minute.
Yeah, we have to change it, it's okay.
right.
No, hold on. See, and now record.
There we go.
Put us in 2.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, we have to look over this way.
Yeah, we can't get that to you.
We can't focus it.
Good evening, board. Before I start reading this, we're gonna hand out, prints, so you guys have all those, and just to see, we have them up on we'll have them on the screen
Yeah.
too, as we go. But
Yep,
can we,
got it.
approach and hand those out?
Yeah, good evening. My name is John Mack from Stewart Summers Company, and I prepared the plans.
Well, I think,
Yeah, I was gonna say,
The microphone comes out, so you're.
we have smaller plans. Is this it?
I have a full size, three of them. I'm just gonna,
Well, you should be able to put them up on this.
well,
yeah, I have one that's gonna go up as well.
Okay,
Okay, then that's fine.
Okay.
okay. Yeah,
thank you.
Thank you.
All right, good evening, board. The project overview is the site plan for the special permit for removal of down trees and fill that was pushed onto Town of Cromwell behind the property line at 9 Winchester Way. This also includes the regrading and fill that was brought into the backyard of 9 Winchester Way.
You're right, over here. I don't care, wherever.
I will start out backwards.
Yeah, this is these, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So as you can see on this slide, it describes the property. It's an R25, a little bit more than a third of an acre. You could see it pretty well blown up to where the wetlands setback is of that red line. And then you see the green dotted line where we encroach the town property.
Wow.
So these are the pictures from our backyard. The one on the left is from our backyard. The one on the bottom right is also from our backyard, but the one on the top right is on the town of Cromwell side. So you could see it does go over about probably 30 to 40 feet, but it's cantilevered onto a tree, so there's not much fill or down trees once it's past that area. But it is probably about 1,600 square feet, 40 by 40. So erosion control measures, a pre-construction meeting will be held with appropriate town of Cromwell staff, property owner, and contractors. A temporary silt fence will be installed prior to any site disturbance surrounding the work area, approximately 40 length from the back of the property line at 9 Winchester Way, and the width of about 40 feet. Additional sediment and erosion control measures will be implemented as necessary. Property pins will be placed at the rear corners of the property by the firm that has completed the property survey. Any questions so far on any of this?
No, just keep going.
Okay. All right, so the removal and the disposal. All down trees in the open space will be removed via hand if possible. If not, a small excavator will be placed in the rear of 9 Winchester Way. All trees and brush recovered will be removed from the site by a contractor. Lastly, all fill material with any other smaller materials will be removed by hand. All work mentioned above will, sorry, I can't even read that, be done by a licensed and insured contractor. A COI for the contractor has already been provided to the town of Cromwell, listing the town of Cromwell as an additional insured. And on this diagram, that's the property line between 7 Winchester Way and 9 Winchester Way, and that's the area it will be coming out, and there's a picture on the next slide that shows you the area it's going to be coming out of. All right, so seeding planting requirements. Seed bed preparation includes grading, applying limestone and fertilizer, and seeding with special grass mixtures. Mulching and a minimum of 5 inches of topsoil application are required for stabilization, and that will just be in accordance to what we have written on the plans. Completed work. Once all work is completed and looked at and been approved by Town of Cromwell personnel, the contractor shall take all erosion measures, such as adding silt fences around the entirety of the sides and rear of the property to ensure that no runoff of soil to any neighboring properties. Regrading. A permit of the regrading of the fill pile will be obtained if deemed necessary by the Town of Cromwell Building Department. All work will meet general grading standards that are stated in Appendix J of the Connecticut Building Code. The existing block retaining wall and basketball court will be removed. All drainage will just be extended to keep natural runoff and not affect any neighboring properties. All work will be performed by a licensed contractor. In this diagram, you could see kind of on the bottom right, I don't have a laser pointer, I'm sorry, but there's a shed on there right now, so that basketball court will no longer be there. And then to the right of it, there's a retaining wall that's going to be taken down as well. And then the area where it says existing fill in area to be regraded, that's the picture that was shown last time during our meeting, that will be taken down and graded gradually across the yard. So I forgot we had this picture. So that's the shed in that retaining wall. The shed will be replaced where it was. The retaining wall will be coming down. And where that little dump is on that little hill over there that's gonna all be graded down and sloped down. Retaining wall and drainage. Retaining wall and drainage will abut the property at 11 Winchester Way and open space that is owned by the Town of Cromwell. An application for a permit hasn't been submitted yet. As I was doing this, I thought it already had been submitted, but I know they called today for this work, and all drawings and specifications will be delivered to the town of Cromwell by our licensed building contractor, sorry. Fencing. Fencing will be placed along the side and rear of the property at 9 Winchester Way. The fence will connect to the existing fence that abuts 11 Winchester Way, go around the rear yard and adjoin the fence on the property line at 7 Winchester Way. All the work's being performed by a licensed contractor. On this one, you could see the yellow highlighted. That's where the fence is going to continue along the side and come down. And that is it.
Madam Chair? May I?
Yes.
Mr. Pergolotti, you are aware that the information that you presented is going to require license, any activity occurs out there?
Oh, yes, yeah.
No removal, no regrading?
Yep.
Okay, thank you.
I just have a question for you because I'm reading, did you get Mr. Harriman's memo?
Yes, I did.
And I'm just wondering, because he said it's his understanding that some of the work shown on the plan has already occurred.
No. That said that on his?
His memo as of,
Occurred, it says occurred.
has
not-
occurred.
In John's memo, it says it
Oh,
already occurred.
What does that mean? I
It's
would've-
already happened.
Right, that's what I'm
Yeah,
asking.
this
But
was a
some-
violation.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I violated, yeah.
Oh, all
We
right.
put the fill on before we asked for the, yes.
All right, so I
So
just
the
wondered,
work-
Yeah,
The
okay.
work that's occurred was the violation.
right, was
Yes.
the violation, okay, I was just, as he's bringing up different things, I thought maybe some of this work they're talking about now has already occurred.
Yeah, no.
Okay,
So you haven't started any of the.
No, I mean, besides, I mean, you saw on that picture, we
Yeah.
don't have a shed right now.
Yeah.
So we did buy a 7x7 resin shed and put in the backyard, but no regrading. We haven't touched that at all.
okay.
Thank you.
I just wanted to clarify that,
Yeah.
that's all. Okay. Anybody want to speak, or do you want to wait and have public come first?
Let's hear what the public has to say.
Anybody here at the public that wishes to comment on this application, you can come forward now. You have any comments? Okay. So do you have anything to say?
Any commissioners have any
Any
questions or
ques-
comments?
Have any
You have
comments?
You have John's memo.
Yes.
Yes.
Bruce's memo attached to that. If the commission were to act favorably this evening on this application, it would be the conditions contained in both those memos.
Yeah, so I have a letter dated from Bruce of August 29th. I have a letter from John Egan of August 27th. And I have a letter from John Harriman of September 2nd. And the only other condition that I would recommend that doesn't always happen is that the removal of the silt fence should be looked at by Bruce before it's removed. But it should be a condition that the
You
silt
need your mic.
fencing, et cetera, should be part of the part of this finishing process. So often there's been projects where the silt fence sits there, and 5 years later you drive by and you see the weeds that are 3 feet high covering the silt fence that's 2 feet high. So that would be the only recommendation I would make, other than what's already been recommended by staff. Anybody else?
Anybody else? Okay, then you need to, a motion, I'm sorry.
Could you repeat the memo dates for me real quick?
Sure. I have a letter from John Harriman dated 9/2. I have a letter from John Egan dated 8/27. And I have a letter from Bruce Driska dated 8/29.
In our packet, I also had a letter from Bruce for July 10th. Was that updated? And I just didn't get an updated copy.
I believe that memo was referenced in my August 29th.
Yeah, the 8/29 is the latest memo.
Right.
Yep, following prior review dated June 13th, and Okay, so I believe it's covered. Anybody else?
Hold on, wait a minute. And I think there was one that you did for June 13th. 9 Winchester Way. Right,
They're
Okay,
both
all
noted
right.
in the August 29th memo.
okay, yep. Okay. If not, I'd like to have a motion to close the public hearing.
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. And then we need a motion to move ahead.
So is everyone okay with approval? Yes?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll make a motion to approve application, give me a second here,
2514.
2514, with the following conditions, that the letters of John Egan dated August 27th, John Harriman dated September 2nd, and Bruce Driska dated August 29th be adhered to, as well as at the conclusion of the project, removal of the silt fence be accomplished by the homeowner after inspection by Bruce Driska.
Okay, is that fine, Mr. Popper?
Yep, so you got all the memos.
Yep.
Okay. Okay, I'd like to have a second for that, please?
Finney second.
Well, I guess, whatever. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
Thank
Good
you.
luck.
You got some work to do. Good luck.
Good luck. Okay, Mr. Popper? Right.
Next is application number 2519, which is an application to amend the zoning regulations to add banquet hall as a permitted use under section 4.3G of the Town of Cromwell zoning regulations, and amend section 2.2 of the regulations to add a definition of banquet hall. The applicant is the Ukrainian American Cultural Center.
Stuart, thank you. Hi, good evening.
We need a motion to open the public hearing.
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
So everybody's received copies of the information that was submitted, the proposal that was submitted, to amend the zoning regulations. Everybody's got a copy of that. It was included in the packet. I would just like to ask people and inform everyone that, this application, would impact property which is located within 500 feet of Rocky Hill and is located within 500 feet of Middletown. Therefore, we were required to submit this application to both the River COG, which is the River Council of Governments, and the Capital Region Council of Governments. So they have a certain amount of time to respond. We have not gotten the responses yet, so whatever happens this evening, we're going to ask that the public hearing be continued until the next meeting. I don't expect anything, I've never seen any negative comments come back from River COG or CROG. This is a statutory procedure that we have to go through.
So we would just then,
So we're gonna continue, whatever happens tonight, we're gonna continue, I'm gonna ask you to continue the public hearing.
okay,
So we begin that with an open mind.
okay,
Okay.
Thank you very much.
okay.
Thank you.
Thank you for that. Thank you, Stuart. I'm Kimberly Evans, and I'm counsel for the Ukraine
Do you
National.
want to put it up closer to you? Thank you.
Okay, oh, okay. Good, okay. So you all have the proposed amendment that includes adding this new definition for banquet halls for the industrial zone? Everybody has that?
Yes.
Terrific.
We do, thank you.
So, again, we're asking just for this amendment so that so that our fraternal organization can also be able to use the facility for other kind of small gatherings, weddings, parties. It would be limited, especially by the number of parking spaces we have available. We're extremely cognizant about the noise control. This is a way for us, in order to generate revenue, to support paying for the facility, to cover the cost of it. So I went through this with Stuart. Everybody has the proposed text of the amendment. So we're just asking to add this definition for banquet hall facility. Does anyone have questions?
Mr. Popper, you reviewed the draft text.
Yes, I don't know if you have any questions?
Do we need to tie some type of square footage to the sides of the banquet hall, or how do we, because it's a special permit, is that something we can
Well, I mean,
self-regulate?
Because it's a special permit, it gives us a lot of discretion. So
Right.
we can limit the hours of operation. We could decide whether or not, because it's a special permit, if it's suitable for the neighborhood, if it's an appropriate use for the building. So it gives us all that flexibility. I can't imagine anybody coming in with, you know, there are just not that many buildings in the industrial zone you could do this with. Their building is one of the few buildings that you could, because it already operates as that type of facility.
Right.
You know, I mean, they basically operate a banquet hall for their members, okay? So they already have that facility there.
Yeah.
So it's not like they're proposing to build, but by doing this, what it would allow them to do, you know, so you have to understand, they have a special permit to operate, you know, a bar, they have a special permit to operate the club.
Yep.
Okay, so what this would allow them to do is, since they already have the facility, they already have the bar, they already have the hall, so to speak, that this would allow them legally to rent that hall out for
Exactly.
other events. So now how it operates, if I'm a member of the Ukrainian club and I wanna have my daughter's wedding there, I can do that.
Exactly.
Okay, now, I'm not a member, and, I know my friend Frank is a member, and I call my friend Frank up and say, look, we're having a, you know, 50th wedding anniversary party, and we're wondering if, you know, what do you guys charge for the hall?
Right.
So Frank couldn't do that,
Right.
okay, because Frank's not a member.
Exactly.
And that would be a commercial use of the club building, okay, this is a club building.
Thank you.
So now, if this regulation was approved, and obviously, I mean, it's, you know, like all regulation amendments, it's self-interest, and that's fine. But, so if it's approved, then Frank could have his 50th anniversary party there, okay? That's really the only thing that you're gonna see different at that facility. Now, as we I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was just gonna ask, because I also think it would be true if Frank were a member of a different fraternal organization, like the National Polish Association.
Right, we
he
all
could do
agreed
it
to
too.
that, yeah, we
Right.
agreed to that before.
So-
But I think that, in regards to looking at other facilities, so, an example might be, somebody decides they wanna build a hotel in the business industrial park zone on the land behind the Sunoco. Okay, and as part of that hotel, they wanna have a banquet facility. So that's in the business park zone, and that would do both here. So, I think that's kinda what we're looking at here.
Yeah,
So be in the business park?
but that's why I asked about the square footage. I'm not concerned about what is built. I'm concerned
Right.
about what isn't
Yeah.
built yet.
Right.
And whether or not, on a application by application basis, we can choose if we feel something is too large or too small,
Well,
doesn't
on the
really
flip-
matter.
yeah,
But
yeah,
too
I mean,
large, not fitting in,
Right.
not compatible with what's around it.
Well, I think with the language within a special permit allows us to do that.
Perfect, then I'm good with it, thank you.
So,
Thank you.
let me just ask a little bit further than that, because you're saying is, you know, around there, you know, I mean, we don't have a banquet hall really in Cromwell right now
Right.
at all, and
Right.
now this can fit into any industrial zone. And is it called business industrial or business zone?
We're talking about the industrial zone.
Right,
Okay, so, you know, we're talking about the industrial zone. We're saying that we would allow banquet hall facilities in the industrial zone
only,
only.
and that isn't the one by Sunoco, that's not an industrial zone, is it?
No, that's a business park zone.
Oh, okay, because when you said that,
Yeah.
that's right. Okay, so then, I'm just saying is so that somebody then could build in, there's open space in the industrial zone, so they could come in and they could put in, for whatever reason, God only knows, they could put in a huge banquet hall.
Yeah, if they got approval of a special permit, it's not
Right.
like they can do it
Well,
in a
no,
matter
I'm
of
just saying,
right.
okay,
Right, so
right,
they'd have to come before us.
They'd have to
if it-
come before us, and you'd also have to have parking for that huge banquet hall.
right.
Yeah.
And then but when you
If you have
say,
over 200 spaces, you'll have to remember that you're located off a state highway, which means if you have more than 200 spaces, you're gonna also be getting a permit from the state traffic
You're
authority.
gonna have to get an OSTA permit.
Yeah, they used to
Right.
call them.
Why, if
Austin,
you're,
yeah.
if you're not on a highway, you have to?
Yeah, if you
on a
have,
state highway.
if you're on a road that feeds into a state highway, then that
Like Sethie
triggers their
Drive, we'll
review.
say.
Yeah,
Okay. No, I'm just asking
yeah,
these
no, that's fine.
different questions as far as, because I just feel that this text is very loosey.
Well,
as-
if you have suggestions for how you wanna.
Well, no, I just, that's why I was asking,
Yeah.
because in here it also said, in here, parking. Parking shall be provided in accordance with section,
Right.
nothing.
That's my mistake. I should have
Mine-
filled that in for them.
mine, Stuart,
And it
I'm
should
sorry.
refer back to what we require.
Oh,
for
okay.
all type of facilities like that, so we'll fix that.
Designated loading and service areas shall be identified on the site plan.
Right,
Oh, okay, no, I was just
Yeah.
looking at different
Yeah.
things.
no, so we'll have the parking, we'll get the parking number. That's
And then
my mistake.
compatibility, that the use is compatible with permitted and existing industrial uses.
Right.
How is a banquet hall compatible?
Well, it's gonna be up to the commission to decide.
No, but I'm just reading this.
Right.
That the use is compatible
I think if you think about the times when events would be occurring.
with
that thought-
permitted and existing industrial uses. I mean, I'm just being the devil's advocate, because I'm saying is, I don't see anything in industrial zone that is compatible with, you know, you have businesses like, you know, really, and a banquet hall, to me, is a recreational business.
Well, you have to understand that when you have large when you have large buildings, you know, they're used for a variety of uses. And when you talk about general language, like things like compatible, you could mean, for example, you're next to a building that operates primarily first shift. So all the buildings, if you think about it, all the buildings on Commerce Drive operate primarily as first shift. There's no, there's no facility there that's running a third shift operation. There's no construction. You're not on County Line Drive with the Amazon building, okay, which basically runs 24/7. So you're in an area, so if you imagine the other industrial areas in town, you know, when you talk about compatibility, in my mind, you're thinking, well, is the use gonna be compatible? Because the use next door is, you know, if you're running a factory and you're running 3 shifts a day, and, you know, it might not be compatible, there might not be enough parking, you know, things like that could come up.
Okay, I was just trying to
Yeah.
make sure
But
that,
a special permit gives us the ability to look at all that and
Yeah,
act accordingly.
okay, I just wanted to make sure that we're on
I'm
safe
okay with
ground.
yeah, I think the special permit, you know, the special permit, you know, we would have the ability to say, look, we don't think, you know, traditionally, if you look at it today, most wedding venues and places like that usually close or stop the event at 11. And they do that for sound reasons, basically. And they also do that because the people staffing the event, you know, that's as many hours as they're gonna work. They're not, you know, they'll work from 6 to 11, they don't really wanna run the operation from 6 to 12.
Right.
So, we would have the ability, during the special permit process, you know, we could decide, you know what, we think it should close at 11. So we could say, your event, whatever hall, if it's the Ukrainian club, if it's the former crematorium, okay? Whatever you're doing there, it has to be over at 11.
Okay, I'm just,
Okay,
you know,
so I mean, so we, within the confines or the context of the special permit, we would have the ability to do that.
okay.
So I think overall, you know, it's a use where people can kind of take advantage of things that they already have, and where it's a use where there's some potential.
Okay,
Do we have a lot of places that people are gonna do this? I really kind of doubt it.
I can't,
I mean, it's just, you know, I mean, it's not gonna be the Knights of Columbus. I know those days are long gone.
They shall never happen again.
Shall never happen again. And we can control it from day one. Nobody had any control over the Knights of Columbus.
Right, they were double grandfathered,
Yeah.
so.
okay, anybody else? Please, yes, go right ahead, yes.
In the definition, it says the event shall be limited to hours of 8 to 12 unless otherwise approved by the commission. Does that limit us from, limiting the hours to before 12 under the special permit review? Would we be tying our hands for a future permit?
Well, it could be, because it says here, event shall be. That's mandatory, shall.
So maybe we wanna make it a little more vague to give ourselves more power in the future.
Do you want to say that the timing of the events is at the discretion of the committee? Would that help? Instead of putting the.
Yeah, I mean, I would suggest something like events shall be limited, to the hours specified by approved by the commission.
Yeah,
That's
I would be more
better
comfortable with
language.
that.
I got
Thank
you.
you.
Just get rid of that.
Yep.
Yep.
Would that address your concern then? Terrific. Anybody else?
Anybody else? Yes?
So, Stuart, when we look at the table, and you're saying add banquet hall to the table, would that be in the category of community and cultural facilities? Or is that gonna be a separate, banquet hall, a separate category in and of itself? And then, in either event, as you look down the row, not the column, but the row, would it be checkbox under, business and industrial? How's this gonna look in the table?
I wouldn't put it under that category,
Okay,
because those are more, I would put it under, it's not gonna be under those categories.
okay.
I would actually put it under a different category,
Okay.
and,
Would it be a separate category, banquet hall?
yeah, I would think so, and I would go, let me just go to the use table for a second.
Yep. It's on page 81, I think, if I have the
Yeah,
right
I mean, I
version
wouldn't
of this.
use that. What I would use basically is food and beverage services,
Okay,
because if you think about this, that's what this is.
okay,
This is a facility for food and beverages.
okay,
So we would add a category, so if you look at it, we have food and beverage services. We have a broad range of categories.
Bacon,
So I would add, banquet hall, it starts on page 83, it says food and beverage services. So I would add it under that category, and it would be under industrial as a special permit.
okay.
So that's how it would look. It would look, if you look on page 84, you can see it.
This
And
was
that's
my
how it-
attempt to put the table in the document. It was
Yeah,
not
that's
successful.
fine.
That's
Apologies.
fine, no,
That's
that's
fine.
fine.
So that's how,
Okay.
well, and what I'll do is we'll reproduce that table and we'll get it to everybody so you can see it.
Yeah,
Okay,
that's
great.
fine, and it'll only be, basically, a checkbox will only be under that one industrial category.
Yes, yeah.
Okay. So since we're talking about that, would there be any other categories, since we opened the door here, that possibly a banquet hall could fit in, maybe for future considerations, or do we wanna just limit it to this for now and leave it at that until we have another application? I mean,
Well, I
banquet hall
mean-
could be used in other areas, but
Yeah, yeah.
I don't know, I'm just
I
kinda
mean-
throwing it out on the table that if we're doing it now,
It's page
do we wanna kind of forecast the possibility of banquet halls in other areas? But it doesn't have to, I mean, we can start with this and work our way out.
Well, I think what we could do, I mean, we could say, I mean, basically, we only have two zones at this point in time.
Yeah.
I mean, the other zone where it could possibly be is the business industrial park zone.
Right.
So, and basically, for example, that's the area behind the Sunoco. And the area adjacent to the Middlesex Hospital building.
Okay.
That's also the area off of Gear Street, which goes from,
Mine is on
almost
86.
goes from 99 all the way
Food
to
and
Route 3.
beverage services,
So that's all the business
Yeah.
industrial park zone.
but what I did
And
is,
it's possible that somebody
mine
could
is
build a
different,
hotel.
because I made it, so.
And if they build a hotel, I
Yeah.
mean, the hotels we have right now really don't have, I mean, if you've been in the Marriott, I mean, that's probably the largest one. The other existing hotel doesn't really, the Spring Hill.
Spring Hill Suites.
Yeah, they don't have a banquet facility, they've got a little dining area, and really, if you think about it, the Marriott doesn't have a banquet facility, they've got a large room that they kind of passes for where they do their events.
Right.
But it's not really,
So you're
Okay.
looking at it under food and beverage services?
yes, yeah, that's where I would put it.
All right, we could leave it as, with the industrial for now, and let's see where that new property with the red line, where that's going, would that need anything to that extent? There's no banquet halls in that
Yeah,
at this point.
and I expect, the people that are looking at the Sunoco property, if they move forward, they're gonna probably move forward with a use that might not be currently in the zoning law, that they would come in and ask to amend. And if they wanna build a hotel there, in addition to those other uses, they'd be fine, they could do it then.
So then, okay, that's fine, that's fine. And then just a general question, so I've been a long time since I've rented a hall, so if you have a liquor permit, and I know maybe this is out of the, but if you have a liquor permit, they have a liquor permit, and I rent the hall, do I get the use of that liquor permit too? I don't, they have to have for a separate liquor license, right? If I go in to have an event and I have liquor
I don't know.
again, it's
I
maybe
could look
not in our
into-
bailiwick, but I was just curious.
Yeah, I could look into it, I don't
No,
know.
it's not, I was
think
just,
if the hall has a permit.
they could take
then
advantage of that,
You
right?
rent the hall from the
You get the benefit of
permittee.
that
You get the
license.
benefit
and you
of
get
the, okay.
benefit of the permit
Right.
as well.
Again, more of a curiosity.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
I'm pretty positive that you get.
I
the
remember it that
benefit.
way, but I don't recall.
Okay, yes, yes.
So
Thank
there,
you.
there might be different stipulations on that now. You would have to check with liquor commission.
Yep.
Cause I know in the past, if a facility has a liquor permit, you cannot bring your own liquor.
Right.
So, because the thing is, if something happens, they're gonna be responsible.
Yep.
So it's some kind of fee that the person will have to take with the state. So it's all through liquor commission.
Yep. I would just add too that this is a period of time when like the Ukrainian culture is under assault. This is much appreciated to help us generate the revenue to support the club.
Yes, go ahead.
This is a curious question.
Sure.
How many people fit in your banquet hall?
Excellent question. I'm glad I have my experts here. How many people?
Everybody, do you have your mics on? 'Cause they said they couldn't hear.
Sorry,
The
160.
IT person said they couldn't hear, so put it down so it can, he came to me and
And
said,
what was that number?
160.
160?
160.
on my phone.
Thank you.
We have to open up to the public.
Okay. Anybody would like to come before us on this,
Public comment?
public comments?
Good evening, James Mitriadis, 272 Skyview Drive. I just want to say that I think since we've lost the Crown Plaza / Red Lion in town, there's definitely been a struggle to have a mid-sized banquet facility that's accessible to a lot of the groups in town. The only option right now, if you want to have like a large event, would be the TPC River Highlands, which is quite expensive for the space that they have. So I think having another flexible banquet hall facility in town that may be more accessible would be something that a lot of the civic groups in town would certainly appreciate. I know that when the development on West Street was going in and they were talking about having some commercial portion to that original project when it was owned by Lexington, we had asked, and I know your commission had also asked about the opportunity to have a banquet hall space for 100 to 150 people, and they said that that's not something that they're interested in. So there's really a lack of adequate space for that type of event, and given our location in the crossroads of two major highways in the center of the state, something like this is very desperately needed. When Knights of Columbus was on Main Street, they would have events for soccer groups in this league and that league all the time because it was just such an adequate space. It was accessible, it was one level, it was all of those things. You know, that there aren't in many other sites. I guess Cafe Fiore has a small room in the back, but I would say that holds 75 comfortably, not 150 comfortably. And Cafe Luna as well, but that's another space that holds 75 to 50, probably more for an anniversary or a dinner versus a banquet. So I think that this is a definite need, and I think the location of it is also really viable because it is far away from any residence where they're located, especially since it's through a special permit. There's not a house within stone's throw of it, and there's woods abutting it on the other side across the street that would muffle any sound. So I think all in all, it's a really, really good location for this, and it serves a really important need. And like they said through their application, they're limited by parking and all the rest of the normal restrictions that the building would have. So I just want to say from a town perspective and an economic development perspective, I think that this is something that would be very, very viable and helpful. So thank you all for your time.
Anybody else
Thank you.
in the audience?
So this gets continued until we hear from those other.
Right, so I'll make a motion to continue the public hearing to our next meeting, correct?
Right,
Thank you so
Second.
much. I appreciate your help so much.
okay, all in favor?
Aye,
Okay.
thank you.
Thank you so much,
Okay.
everyone. Thank you.
So for the next meeting, the only thing we're gonna be looking for is the parking circulation section filled in.
Yep.
And the amended table, food and beverage services, banquet hall, industrial and special permit.
Got it. Thank you so much.
And hours of operation, revamping.
Right,
Okay,
okay,
perfect.
perfect. Okay,
Thank you.
You
Thank
bet,
you.
thank you very much. Thank you.
okay, application 2516.
Yeah, I'll make a motion to open the public hearing for application 2516, special permit at 51-14 Shumpike, Murphy's Pub and Grill.
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
More stuff? Oh,
God. Hate it the night of the meeting.
thank you, sir. Oop, Stuart, turn around.
Actually, I have one more.
Thank you.
You know, I hate getting these things the night of the meeting.